Okay, today we're doing a review of chapter 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, and 1.9 to get you ready for your test, which is on Thursday. So the first section talks about commutative and associative properties, and what are those two properties, or what do they kind of mean? Elizabeth? Yeah, so when we're talking about multiplication and division, we can switch those numbers around and the order doesn't matter. We're still going to get the same answer. So it only works with multiplication and addition. That's the one thing to remember. So the first part of your test will have a bunch of problems that have a bunch of numbers. And you're going to have to add those up and tell me the answer. So you can add them in any order you want and you're still going to get the same answer because everything is plus in this problem. I would right away see that those two add up to 20. So I would add those two first and then bring the rest down. And then you can pretty much add whichever two you want to add next, whichever two kind of fit together best in your brain. So I would do these two. So bring the 15 and the 4 down, and 20 plus 12 is 32. And then I would add these two. So I see that 5 plus 2 is what? 5 plus 2? 7. And 1 plus 3? 4. And then bring down the 4, because we haven't used that yet. And then 47 plus 4? 81? Nope. Okay. 47 plus 4? Yes, thank you. 51. You had the one part right, really. Okay, so, again, it does not matter what order you add those in, you're still going to get the same answer. And the same is true for multiplication problems. So on the test, you're also going to have some problems that are multiplication. Did everyone copy that? Okay, I'll leave it. Okay, so when we're multiplying, the same thing is true. We pick whatever two numbers we want to multiply first, and then we just keep going from there. So what is 4 times 5? 20. And then you're going to bring the rest down. And so I think next I'll do 3 times 2. What is 3 times 2? 6. So I bring the 20 down. Put my 6, and then what is 20 times 6? Nope. 120. Good. 120. And it does not matter what order you do, you're always going to get 120. Okay, so for the next one, I took this example right from the book, page 60, number 66. And the directions say to simplify the expression. So simplify the expression means what? Do you guys remember? It's another way of saying, okay, break it down, solve, combine like terms. That's going to be my main goal for these types of problems. I want to combine all my like terms. How do I know if a term is like another term? Yes. Yes. We always look at the variable. If the variable is the same, then they are like terms. So in this problem, I have 3x and 2x, which are like terms. So what is 3x plus 2x? 5x. Can I combine the 5x and the 4y? Why? Exactly. Different variables means they cannot go together. So that's going to be our answer right there. Okay, so for this next one, we have a couple of different things going on. What do I need to do first to solve it? Yes, parentheses first. Nice job, guys. So I'm going to use the distributed property and distribute that 3 into the parentheses. So 3 times 2 is, and 3 times 3x, 9x. Good. And then bring down that 21x. Now I'm going to combine my like terms. So which terms are alike in this problem? Say it louder. 9x and 21x, because they both have an x. So what is 9 plus 21?
31.
30x. And then bring down the 6. Now can I combine the 6 with the 30?
No.
No, why?
6 doesn't have x.
Exactly. Good work. So the 6 doesn't have a variable. It has to stay by itself. And that becomes our answer. Be careful on the test, because I did make it a little tricky with the answers to make sure you knew what you were doing. So I might have an answer on the test that says 36x. But that is wrong because you can't combine the 6 and the 30x. Okay? Okay, so now we're moving on to section 1.7, where we talk about hypothesis conclusion statements, which are also called if-then statements. And the hypothesis is which part of the sentence? The if. And the conclusion is the then part. Give me a thumbs up if you remember this a little bit. It's starting to come back. It's a little foggy. Kayla, anything? Yeah. What did I just say? Okay. So you're going to identify the hypothesis and conclusion in each statement. So it's going to give you a statement. For example, we'll do number 78. It says if x is greater than y, then 2x is greater than 3y. So on your test, I'm going to say, tell me the H and the C, the hypothesis and the conclusion. What is the hypothesis of that sentence?
The hypothesis is if x is bigger than y.
Yeah. So remember, you don't need to write the if and the then when you do this part. So you would just say the hypothesis is x is greater than y. And what's the conclusion?
2x is bigger than 3y.
That's right. 2x is greater than 3y. So you're just breaking down the if and then. The hypothesis is the if. The conclusion is the then. Okay, so for this section, it's going to give you a sentence that is not written in if-then form, and you have to write it in if-then form. So who can take this sentence, school begins at 7:30 a.m., and write it with an if-then phrase? Really?
If school begins at 7:30 a.m., then...
Okay, let me stop you. You started right, so we could start if school begins.
Then at 7:30.
Good. That's right. This one is a little bit tricky, because I actually did the same thing you did at first. If school begins, then it is 7:30 a.m. What's another way you could say this sentence?
If school begins...
Nope.
If it is 7:30, then school begins.
There you go. So you could write it the other way too. You could say if it is 7:30 a.m., then school begins. Either of those ways would be acceptable on the test. Okay, so for the next section, section 1-8, we're talking about tables and graphs and collecting and representing data. So we have this table as an example on page 61 in your book, And it says a printer can print 12 pages every minute. So they gave us minutes 1 through 5, and then we just counted by 12 to fill in the table, which is also in your book. And we're going to just answer some questions about this table, because that's what you're going to have to do on the test. So a question might be, in 3 minutes, how many pages did the printer print? Yes. So 36 is correct. In 3 minutes, it prints 36 pages. And another question might be, how many minutes have passed when 60 pages are printed? Yes. And the answer is 5 minutes. And so the table on your test, of course, is over different information, but you're going to read it the same way to get the answers. Okay, I don't know if it is working.